Friends, I hope you're well. Welcome to the second channel, Dealing with Money channel 2. Very original. Let's talk about Applied Digital. I am becoming very obsessed with Applied Digital here. Applied Digital, APLD. So I do want to say this. Obviously, put the negatives out there first. I'm aware that it is a company that is very new. I'm aware that it is a company that is not yet in profitability zone, and there is still construction going on with the company. The big thing that is going on here right now, the two big elements is, first of all, they are making a lot of money, which has come out of nowhere and taken everyone by shock here because, the core, they released core is a little different over here with Applied Digital, but they're in this new revenue stream now. We'll just kind of say from, over $60 million to $40 million, which is crazy because this time last year, it was nothing like that. In 2022, 23, I mean, the company was barely producing anything. But this new, I think I talked about this yesterday. There's this new gold rush going on in the market that I'm seeing, but there's very few people panning for the gold. It's very, hidden stream out there in a corner where there's a few of us out there like, where? It's these data centers that are popping up, that are becoming more popular, that are not only working to store data, but, produce, AI, software, all that kind of stuff. And essentially they're almost like high security zones too, but Applied Digital is pretty much that in a nutshell. So what we're seeing right now is a company that is growing at a very alarming rate, where I think a lot of people need to watch what's going on over here. I'm reading a lot about what's going on. I read about this company every day because I'm very interested in it right now. I love new things in the market. I love futuristic companies in the market, and Applied Digital is very much in that realm. LPAD's first major lease with CoreWeave was signed only months ago, and negotiations are already underway for a second expansion that would generate approximately $11 billion in revenue over the next 15 years. Okay, that's a lot of money. This rapid expansion underscores CoreWeave's immediate need for additional capital and LP's ability to deliver scale. So it's a new company being built, but it deserves attention. It deserves attention. Now, the big thing here is that by next year, can this company Applied Digital here be in profit zone? Can we see this? If so, can people get in now to find themselves in a very growing and unique stock here by this time next year? I think that's possible, especially if this company keeps producing, strength and numbers, with not only investors being very curious about it, but continue to push in revenue, continue to push in investors, continue to do what they do. Because I am very much sold out in this theory that the next decade in the market is going to be wrapped up in tech 100%, whether that is another round in electric cars, which I kind of think that market has come and gone. I think, we've pretty much, not that, electric car conversation is going to die out, but I think, we've had the EV movement in the market. I kind of think right now we're not going to have another EV push in the market for quite a while. But I think the pushes that we're going to continue to see is going to be chips, it's going to be software, it's going to be security, it's going to be, I do think robots are going to be a huge conversation here in the next coming years with the market. Obviously, Tesla releasing Optimus here sooner than we think. So Applied Digital data centers, very heavy in the conversation, software pushing AI, all that kind of stuff. This is a very real conversation that people need to really be aware of right now. So with this company particularly, like I said, it's a very new. There's going to be negative with this. There's going to be negative with it, and I completely understand that, and that's why I'm kind of talking about it on the second channel here, because I think you're either sold out on the theory of it that this should and can work. If you're very into taking chances and you're very into pushing into futuristic stocks, this is definitely something that I think a lot of us are watching right now. But two is that when we talk about long term with this company, even this small, this first deal that they're talking about here, 11 billion, approximately over the next 15 years, that's a lot of money. There's a lot of, listen, there's, Big Bear, as we speak right now, is not projected to make $15 billion over the next 15 years. And that company is a lot more popular right now than Applied Digital. So, mathematically, does that make sense? I think this company has a lot of potential to get really out of control stock-wise price. I just don't think the masses have found it yet. I really don't. So I'm very curious to see where it can go from here. And when we look at the stock price on Applied Digital right now, I mean, the stock shot back up into almost a $15 position a day. It actually broke an all-new time high, which is weird because I talked about it yesterday, and I was like, you've got to watch the stock. You've got to watch what's going on over here. So Applied Digital, it's getting a lot of attention, man. I really think the stock is starting to get really in a frenzy where it's going to be pushed up more. I still don't think it's really popular, but I do think it's deserving of a lot of attention here. Just the past month here with the stock, at the beginning of July, this was still a $9 stock, and I was yapping about it then a little bit. But now, just in this short time zone from this time last month, back July 5th, we're almost at $15. And, revenue this year has been increasingly vigorous. I mean, it's just gone up a tremendous amount. So yeah, I'm really just, this is what I do with the second channel. I'm just really, getting my thoughts out there with what's going on with the stock, really talking about it. Just to push the conversation a little more of tech stocks, like I said, I do believe that tech stocks are going to really push the future of this next decade in the market with, the next two administrations that are about to lead us the next 10 years with Trump, whoever's next, and, half of that, whoever's after that. Either way, tech is going to be a supersonic highway to the stock market, 100%. But with that is that, tech in general is producing the most money out of any companies in the world right now. And, Dan Ives is very famous for saying this, that he believes in the proof is coming out more and more each quarterly, each week, each year with the stock market right now, that tech is going to really, it's really just in the beginning stages of what is coming here with a lot of these tech stocks, where, a lot of people were thinking at the end of 2024 that, a lot of these tech stocks, we can't have another super year like we just had. I mean, Nvidia can't make much more money. AMD can't make much more money. Apple's made as much money quarterly wise that it will probably ever make. It'll probably never beat another quarterly. Well, all of that is old news now, because a lot of those companies keep beating quarterlies. They keep coming out with new quarterlies. They keep coming out with better technology. They, the chips of Nvidia 5 years ago are old news compared to the chips today. The software of Apple is, not as good as it is today, as they like to say. I'm very much trying to, as an investor myself, as we find ourselves in this very huge pool of different categories of tech in investing, to get pieces of each and what I can with each unique and special company, and obviously ones that are making money, or if not, looking to be in a very strong revenue path going into the future, even if it's not as sturdy as I would like it to be. Applied Digital is 100% in that conversation, where it's a very just weird and unique situation, but I don't know that it's getting a lot of people's attention. It's getting more well known, but I think this company is going to get, become a very expensive stock. I really do think that. So friends, just a short little sweet little video to the point. I really do think that you need to watch Applied Digital. I'm not even saying that this is going to work at this point. Like I said, it's a very new situation. The company is still very much, putting, nails on the wall at this point, but it's getting somewhere fast. So as an investor, I'm paying attention. I'm paying a lot of attention. Friends, thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.